do. Dean, let me introduce you to my loved one, Israel. This is going to be beautiful, man. This is
Good
hey, man,
evening, sir.
Blessings,
all
blessings,
right minds
blessings,
are here
blessings,
right now. You got the floor, Israel, my
blessings.
beloved brother.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say to Brother Dean, man, I really appreciate, you coming on. I really appreciate the knowledge that you're bringing. You're hitting on some very critical points. But I have a question,
Yes,
right? There was a guy named Tyrone Powers. He was a former FBI agent, right? And then he left from that and he came into the Black Consciousness movement, right? And he did a lecture one time and he said that the FBI, they had a profile on Black people, right? Just like we just had the George Floyd, the riots, right? And the profile is that we are emotional and reactionary, right? We're not calculated thinkers, right?
exactly.
And my question to you is, how is that developed? How can we develop that? Because it seems it's not something that maybe it's innate within us. Maybe it has been suppressed. Maybe environmental circumstances, different type of upbringings and so forth causes us to be emotional. I know African people, we have rhythm and, spiritual energy. I would use that word, right? More so than other people. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so therefore, how do we develop this calculation? I mean, it's like with the Navy SEALs, they have trainings, right? Where they train them to function under high stress situations, right? To suppress their nervous system, to suppress their natural fight or flight programming, and to be able to go into danger, to deal with extreme situations. This is a training that they go through. It's not something that they naturally would do. And since we as Black men, most of us have been raised by our mothers, right? And I used to go I'm here in Chicago, Illinois. I used to go into the Cook County Jail, and I used to work with men in the jail. I used to do workshops, right? And one day I asked them, why are you here? Why are most of you all in jail? And they was looking at me. They was like, why? I said, because you acted like your mother. And they got upset, right? I'm like, oh. I'm like, no. I said, but what happened by us being raised by our mother, we seen our mother deal with problems, but she dealt with them in an emotional manner.
Completely.
So therefore, that subconscious programming is in us without us even knowing that it's there. And so we went out and we did something without thinking about the short-term and long-term effects that it would have on us and the people around us, particularly our children, right? So how do we get to that calculated state? That state where we are moving like a grandmaster chess player.
Absolutely.
On the board of life. What is the process you would say that we could use to implement that?
I'm going to unpack it like this, because you said quite a few things there, but because you introduced the most important point, because you built into the Green Berets. Let's take the Green Berets and let's start there, because I like to think as a reverse engineer and work backwards. I like to work backwards from the solution to the problem. So when you think about Green Berets now, you're taking men who are ready, who are at the peak of their physical fitness as soldiers, who are elite soldiers, who are ready for the challenge and proposition in front of them. And yet still 90% of them will ring the bell and leave.
Yes.
However, the same way that this isn't a society, this is a community that is being created now. And let's say there were a society of the revenant that would be ready for those who don't ring the bell. Now, Marcel has presented himself, and we'll be speaking with Andre at some point. These men who desire to be highly calculated, who desire to adopt the GPS to be highly impactful missiles, present themselves, because you present the platform. It's not for everybody. Dre said something about the 60s in that the consciousness grew. Because we had never done it in the way that we could visualize it and actually see it play out, we didn't realize that it's not for everybody. See, I don't talk to everybody. I don't want to talk to FM people. I don't want to talk to AM people, because we're in the digital age. So I want to talk to the DAB people When you get the dab radio signal, there's no crackle, it's instant, it's crystal clear, and everybody's getting it. So I only want the dab. I don't want the AM or the FM. So this is why when Dre talks about the Revenant, you are now presenting a platform in which men can present themselves to become the Green Beret. You go through the training, and the training costs, because when you pay attention. I have your full mind, I have your natural mind, and if you are man enough to invest in yourself, it means you get what I'm conveying and you actually desire it, rather than like the old push advertising in the 80s. Now, the advertising is designed to actually seek you out, so that it is actually pull advertising as opposed to push. You see, Dre's program is pull. I'm going to do a similar thing in the UK, not push, because I don't want you if I have to push. Prove it to me. I don't want you. I want the men who line up to be Green Berets, because we know that we have a structured program that absolutely works every single time for those who have the internal resource to actually defy reality, to defy their pain, their body, their doubt, to become what we are looking for. And we don't need 1 million of them. If I say I want to train 100 of them in person this year on my Future Leader program, which you can find at adpack.net/blog. Future Leader program. It's a structured program to identify these men, to give them the intellectual capital and experience that the three of us share, so we can transfer that GPS to them. Now, it's not for everybody, and there are men who are going to ring the bell, and that's okay, and they can come back, because it's not the end for them. Do you know how many have gone to become Green Berets after they failed? Because they weren't ready. Because as Dre says, everything is timing. So based on spiritual dreams, I had one of those dreams back in 2003, after I'd had a burglary in my phone shops, and I was really at a low ebb, and I started to build myself, and I had this spiritual dream. I was shot in the head, and there's a man over my bed, and he put the gun to my head, and I said, no, there's not enough time. And he shot me, and my spirit was actually escaping through the hole, and I'm clawing at my body, trying to get back in. I said, there's not enough time, and I'm trying to get back in my body. And I woke up, and I said, there's not enough time. Study, master, apply. So when you speak, it's clear that the information you have is information worth taking on board. See, I don't just want to talk. Communication is talking, it's making a breakthrough. Israel, I know that's what you do. I know that's what Dre does. You have peers. And when you establish a structured program, men, a man who's come from the street like Marcel is seeking structure, because he wants to master his environment. Because a master of that environment is what Jordan Peterson calls a dangerous man anyway. So
that's right.
Start from what we know works as reverse engineers, and we pack it, and then we go back to the beginning, which is the onboarding. Now, if you want to get in the early intervention, you are perfectly capable of setting up a cadets. See, it's not the military, but it's our military. Where we take boys from 8 to 11, 12 to 16, 17 to 21. You see the matriculation of that program. Imagine if you got him at 8 and now you still got his natural mind at 28.
Yes.
That's a dangerous man. So we look at what the model is. The model is Dre, the model is you. And you work backwards. And you say that's a structured program now that is modular and scalable, that we are no longer now at the grassroots level training the guys at the front. We are now training the facilitators to execute our role.
Yes,
I want to train 100 of those facilitators a year. And through Patreon, I want to train 1,000 virtually to go and be as impactful as they can in the world. And then you monetize through Patreon, right?
Yes.
That's powerful. Bring your whole mind.
Yeah, that was very, very